Hi, this is Nancy Baker. Today I'm going to talk to you about some of the other functionality available through the EPA custom ribbon. To get to the ribbon, you click on the EPA custom words up here on the top. In Abstract Sifter, it has to be version 8 or beyond. And then you get a whole ribbon full of menus that lead to functionality available through the new version of the Abstract Sifter, version 8. I've already done a couple of videos on this. Today I'm going to show you about this section right here called Get Structure Diagrams. So going to go over to this sheet called Curated Lists. And let me just talk about literature in general for just a second. So the point of publishing is to put in writing something that you've learned through your research, so that somebody else can build on what you've learned and extend whatever scientific endeavor field you're in. The purpose of the Abstract Sifter is to help researchers find publications and then to find information in those publications that you as a researcher may want to build on in your own research. And in the Abstract Sifter, you can actually build on the knowledge that you extract from other people's publications. One of the functionalities that help you do this is this one here, Get Structure Diagrams. So let's take the scenario where I've gone out to a number of publications and pulled off chemical names that are work in the retinoid pathway. This is just a simple example. You'll have your own examples. And I've got those chemicals right here. To be able to use the functionality in the ribbon, I'm going to need to get the DSS Tox IDs, the unique identifier for these chemicals, and I click on this button up here and I say with chemical name or CAS, and then I give it the input to the function, and that's B. That's column B here has the input to the function that finds those DSS Tox IDs. Now each one of those DSS Tox IDs is being looked up, and I can tell that in two cases, this case and this case, the chemical name I gave it is a synonym and not the preferred name. And I can go and take a look what the preferred name is, and I can choose to use that or not. This one's a really long preferred name, I think. Yeah, so I'll just stick to this abbreviation. So maybe I'm thinking to myself, okay, so I have some evidence from all of the articles that I've been reading and curating these chemicals from, that these chemicals act in the retinoid pathway and maybe even on the CYP26 protein that's in that pathway. That's what I'm exploring in my research. So one of my questions to myself is, which of these chemicals actually look like retinoic acid? And those chemicals might be called retinoids, but so I'm going to put retinoic acid here and get the DSS Tox ID for that. And now I have the actual endogenous chemical here, and maybe my whole purpose here is to kind of compare, and I'll insert that here, put it at the top. Okay. Now I want to compare the structure of these to retinoic acid visually, and so maybe I can sort of get some insight into this set of chemicals. There are two ways I can do that. One is that I can select this these cells right here and click on structure. What happens there is that it will ask me which column has a DTSX ID. I'm going to put A because that's where it is. And the Abstract Sifter goes out for each one of these DSS Tox IDs, gets the structural diagram, and places it in this cell. So I can visually go through and see, scroll, and see the different structures. That's one way to do it, but it also sort of messes up my rows. It makes them bigger because I'll be able to see it, and maybe I don't really have a hard time seeing which of these are like retinoic acid because I have to scroll. There's another way to do this, and I'm going to select all of these. Oops, did I select that? Yes, I did. Okay, select all these chemicals, and I'm going to click on tiles, and I'm just going to look at this first input here. Where's the DSS text ID? And click on OK. And what that did, it took all of those structures and wrote and put them here on this completely new sheet called tiles. And so now I can visually see many of these chemicals together and visually make the comparison between retinoic acid and all the other chemicals. And certainly in this first row, I can see that those are not particularly like retinoic acid, they're like each other. And then as I move down, I can see things that are maybe more the shape of retinoic acid. So that's one way to do it, and I'm going to show you something a little bit fancier. Let's get rid of those. And I'm just going to make this a little bit easier to read. Format, row height, okay. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Format, auto fit, row height. Okay, there we go. Now we have it back again. All right, and I also have some numbers over here that I completely made up. But let's say these are scores in an assay. And I'll put 7. Okay, so let's say you have some sort of assay that you've run and you've got these scores back from the assay. Let's put 3.4 there just for, oops, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, frick. Why'd you, let's put 12 point, no, let's put 13.1. No! Aren't you glad that I do all these things that, that's not, I want a number, okay, that make you feel like it's okay for you to make mistakes too? Okay, good enough. Okay, so let's say these are scores from some sort of assay. Yeah, I just made these numbers up, but I want to give you this idea how you can do this. Okay, so here I've sorted this set of chemicals by this made-up score. And now I'm going to select that and do conditional formatting and color scales, and I'll use this color scale. So I'm going to assume that this Zafir Lucast is the most potent chemical in my list on this made-up assay that I've put a made-up score here for, and the endosulfan is the least of them, and retinoic acid is up here at 7.7. Again, I've just made all this up. So I want to do something a little bit fancier with my tiles, and let me show you how to do that, because you may have a situation. I'm just selecting some cell in each of these rows. I'm going to click on tiles. All right, so let's go through some of these other options. So DTS XID is in column A, right? Name in column B, colorize with column O. Okay, so I'm going to say C here. And the label, well, I only have B is a good label here, so I'm going to say B. Now I could have made a fancier label and put it in another column and pointed to it. And I'm going to say OK. Okay, so what that did is it took the chemicals with the highest score, because I have them here in this sort of reddish to orangish, and colored them reddish to orangish. And then all the colors here reflect the colors here. So that's, you know, kind of nice, because not only do you have the information about which has the highest score, but you can kind of visually see where they break down. So another thing you can do here is click on this button, select labels, and that's just selects labels for you, nothing fancy there. And then you can go in and add some formatting yourself. Something like that. So if you have a publication that you need to put some figures into, this might be an easy way to do that. And that is a summary of this particular part of the EPA custom ribbon, where you can go out and get structure diagrams in either the list format or the tiles format. And thank you very much for listening.